This is Neil King for Random Acts of Cartooning, and I'm going to show you my Inktober sketchbook. But first... Okay, everyone, so our influence for this episode is taking a look at what I used to grow up with were torn off title pages. And I would go to our local mart. We had this Berlin farmers market, and they would sell probably like 4 of these for about $1, maybe even 5, something like that, really cheap. And you would get a lot of things. They would just have them all in piles. And so I thought I would show people who haven't seen this. So what used to happen is newsstands would have comics, and all kinds of different places would have them. And if they tore off the top part, usually the title and the amount, the issue number or whatever, the company logo, then they could get credits from Marvel and for whoever is doing the distribution. And so this is how a lot of my comics looked, because we would just see all of them. I remember this one very specifically. But this is a great example. This is like from '69, so this was before my time. But I got this recently from a comic book store that sells a bunch of these, and it's so great. This is a great Neil Adams X-Men, and to see it with the actual coloring that it was supposed to have instead of the remakes that they would that they've updated with all these saturated colors and what they could do with this look. To see Neil Adams like this is kind of how you want to see it, not in those reprint images. All that great storytelling, beautiful stuff. But this one I definitely remember having. But the reason why we had so many comic books is because a lot of them were like this. You would get them all. We would also buy them at our local convenience store. We had a 7-Eleven in New Jersey. So most people probably have those type of stores around. And back then they would have the comic book rack, that, the spinner racks. And you would get them, and they would go for the regular 25 cents a piece or whatever. But you could get these really cheap, and they were pretty good about it. They had a lot of great issues, and I was really lucky to get them. But if you've never seen this kind of a thing before, it was all the rage, and it happened till, I believe it's the mid to late 80s, and then they stopped doing it. They really stopped having a lot of them in convenience stores, and there weren't as many newsstands that would have them either. But this was a great way to read comics, and I got to see a lot of great comics this way. Okay, so this month, I was involved with Inktober, and a lot of artists do it across the country and the world. It's been around for a long time. What you do is you have a sketch of some form, drawing finished or not, color or not, and you do one every day in the month of October. So I tend to pick a theme. These are the 2 I had done before, The Bride and Werewolves by Night. I did these before. So this year, Young Monsters in Love. And I have this great sketchbook that has 31 spreads. It's spectacular. So I've been using this format, and I hope they continue to make these forever so that I can keep doing this. So I just stamped the title on top. And I did a spread here, Young Monsters in Love. Nice little image. And I'm doing greeting cards and stuff off of this, so I thought I would spend the month thinking of some new ideas and show some of the ones that I've been doing so far. So I'm a big fan of all of the Universal monsters, so I thought it would be great to show them in scenes that you're not used to, so they're not just fearsome all the time. And so just bringing some of those story ideas of the crowd going to these 2 kind of werewolf-like little characters running away. This is another one. I love showing like some of the characters in situations like in a hotel room or at home, and they're enjoying the night watching a little bit of television. I love the image of Nosferatu and all the shadows, so I thought I would do a fun image like this. Again, not so fearsome all the time, but trying to keep with the look of it. So all this stuff I'm using some brush pens and just a little watercolor for the grays. I was thinking Wicked Witch of the West meets the bride. They go out and have drinks and they talk. Nice little fun image. I always loved the image of Schroeder with Lucy, so I thought I'd make him into the Phantom. Fun spread. I love Ghost Rider, so I love this kind of an idea where he's going across. And the double spreads work to my advantage in many places. Thinking of statuary and some of them coming alive in a cemetery. I think that it's kind of fun and it a little more emotional looking this way. I love the Addams Family, so I thought I'd do a little Wednesday in her room. And she loves all of this kind of stuff, like you have her toys around. This is what she loves. Werewolf, teenage werewolf. I thought would be fun to put two of them in there and having the bride involved. As if they're at some kind of place in the 50s. I always like images of things like to show something, like there's one piece of dessert left and the woman is across from Dracula. I try to get Lugosi as much as I could there. And he makes her drop her fork. It's a fun spread. This one I thought of for a while, having like sushi and all kinds of different stuff with the creature from the Black Lagoon. So I always have these two together, him trying some type of squid. I have that definitely in a card. I like this image too, looking down onto the bride, listening to some music. It's tough to probably see some of these too. I'm trying to pull back. I just like moments too where you can get in on someone who's there that usually you wouldn't see that kind of an image. So having him just playing that organ or the piano and to get some kind of a little look at the two of them. Addams Family. Yeah, working with a spread, you have to think about some stuff to make this happen. So again, a graveyard, all the dead are coming out of their graves. This is what happens at night. You know this when at night in the graveyards. Little cookie monster. He loves cookies. That one turned out. I love heavy metal, of course, monsters. Tried to get as much good detail in there as I could. I think that's a pretty good screen. Wicked Witch. Hots for the Lion, of course. I always think of the Fly, eating out. So, I don't know, it's like a beetle. He's with this. They're an adorable couple. I like the idea of Halloween, just having a couple kids dressed like ghosts. And they recognize someone else has their same idea, or they're just like them. A nice little couple to be. So again, just like a vampire falling asleep at on the couch. This is probably typical for most people, but you don't think of it with Creature from the Black Lagoon. Again, I think it's fun to do this kind of a thing, and the gray wash makes it really easy to get that space with it. I always think grabbing it, they're always grabbing at people's throats. I thought it'd be funny to have the two of them grabbing at each other's. Again, it may be another scene in an apartment or a house, and this is what this mummy's bed would be like. It's relaxing. I did a comic book, Forgotten Planet, and this is kind of off of Forbidden Planet, but they're kind of getting married, and she loves that monster, the robot. This is a good one. And the Count, he loves the Count. Bats. I tried to make the bats look like they do on the television show. I think they're such funny looking bats. Count. Again, listening to some music. Werewolf and the Bride. This little scene. I had to do a King Kong. Just kind of looking at this is right from that last King Kong, which they did a scene like this. Fun to draw King Kong. I had to put the Hunchback of Notre Dame. They're in love. And the whole skeleton, you know. I think any of these kind of characters are just so nice to see them together, and a slightly different style than they were originally done in that. And then I just have the final. This is just the inside cover. This is fun to do, and you may have been following, I'm not sure, of the thing, but it's nice to kind of show what you can do, and it's sometimes it's tough to draw something like this every day, but it keeps you, involved in your art, and to draw like this instead of on a screen all the time, it's really helped me out. So make sure you're following, and we'll see you next time.